Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of a welcome to part 2 of a replay between Elfi and SjoW here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Gonna go ahead and start up this game once again after making sure that all of my video and sound recording are accurate. Okay, there we go. Everything seems to be working just fine. Now, continuing this game, so we have a very large army and SjoW with a lot of siege tanks, with finally siege tech as well. There is a decent number of immortals, so immortals and High Templar will be trying to engage here, and now these stalkers are going to quickly get just a lot of damage eaten up. Zealot's now trying to return home, however going to perhaps get some toasting by those Hellions. No, Hellions unable to catch up as this army now moves out. So many of those units stacking, they'll have to turn off the hit points for just a second. Siege tanks now sieging up, and will those High Templars be able to get off some Psystorm? Getting off some Psystorm, and Immortals dealing a lot of damage as well. So massive Psystorm coming in, dealing so much damage. Feedback, and oh my gosh, Elfi just completely turning this war upside down, coming back in with just perfect counter units at this time. There is 1 point defense drone, however the Immortals will be able to finish this off here. Immortal will be able to also finish down the rest of those Vikings. Marauders now trying to engage as well. Vikings now coming back into that ground mode. Stalkers now coming in as well. However, the Medevacs taking up so much damage there. Stalker Blink will be able to finish off the rest of this, and now we have a different story completely. That was a brilliant play by Elfi. And this game has just completely been switched around. Stalkers may be able to blink. Well, if they're able to blink in and get enough damage there. Oh, very nice blinking those units back, making sure that the Archon, which does not take additional damage from the Marauders or the Armored or the Siege Tank, were able to just soak up the majority of that damage there. So Elfi just really doing some crazy micros so far and able to finish off more and more of this stuff. However, the Planetary Fortress will be completed in just a moment, and that is going to be a very difficult proposition for him to try to take care of. Ghost Academy now in play. Stalkers now trying to engage over here. However, they will not be able to get too much damage in, and now in comes a quick blink once again, going after more and more of these units as they come out in a single file line. This is all that Elfi really has. 5 Stalkers in this game right now. Production wise, I think more units were now trying to be warped in, and will they be able to come off and deal damage? No. Trying to take down this Planetary Fortress, this is not a smart move at all. I'm not sure what exactly he's thinking. Now trying to perhaps pick off SCVs just outside of range. If he's able to deal damage towards the SCVs and not take damage from that Planetary Fortress, that's absolutely perfect right there. Continuing to push, however, that Planetary Fortress already with 3 kills as these Stalkers now try to pick off and continue to get more and more. We also see Stalkers taking down these destructible rocks as well as another army trying to come back into play as well. Marines, Marauders, once again re-engaging. 1300 mineral army coming in from SjoW. Stalkers now trying to blink away, and now that was just a waste of, 100 hit points there, between those, 2 Marauders and 5... 5. Oh, that's a good estimation. About 100 hit points, 90. Back over here, we now see a lot of Stalkers in play, and now more High Templars coming in as well, transferring of probes from the main base to this high yield mineral location. Elfi will be forced to do the walk of shame for just a little bit, some long distance mining, and I think that SjoW has simply just forgotten about this Banshee on the north side. If he had remembered about that Banshee, he could come in with that Banshee. That Banshee could have just racked up a lot of kills already, cleaning up many of these probes. Back over here, we now see 1 sensor tower, Medevac, and SjoW now just macroing up into a very large army once again, running off of a very powerful 2 base, one of them gold minerals. I believe these rocks need to be taken down in just a moment in order to establish a 4th base. Otherwise, things are not going to be looking good. Stalkers now trying to come in, trying to blink, pulling back once again, and just hugging along this distance. I do not think that the Colossi do not have the extended thermal lance research. Now Stalkers trying to come in, a nice Psystorm there, dealing a lot of damage back and forth. That Siege Tank down to 2 hit points, and now for some reason not getting finished off. Another Siege Tank now finished off there, as Marauders are just going to get cleaned up here, and this is not going to be a good sight. There's a very tight ramp choke point here, and all these High Templars need to do is just constantly Psystorm this ramp. By Psystorming this ramp, SjoW has nothing he can really do. We do have these Siege Tanks now trying to siege up onto this high ground, and now those High Templars need to pull back. EMP Shockwave, very nice, depleting all the energy, and perhaps those 2 should become Archons, now trying to merge into play once again, continuing to fight back and forth. A lot of Psystorm here. However, I believe that 1 EMP Shockwave and then Siege Tanks from the low ground, and then the natural sight provided by these buildings is enough to clean up the rest of this fight here. And now Elfi unable to deal the production damage that I think he wanted to deal in order to get ahead in this game, and now this has once again flip-flopped. Excuse me. Stalkers and High Templars once again re-engaging back over here. Stalkers now trying to move around, trying to finish off the rest of these sensor towers, making sure that SjoW does not have too much information all the time across the map. Another command center being laid down here as these destructible rocks will get taken down, and we see that SjoW will finally take up his 4th base, take up his 4th set of mineral patches, and now 1 missile turret being placed down over here by SjoW as well. So SjoW will get 1 missile turret in this location, and then we'll be able to see if his opponent tries to establish a base up over here. I believe that was an observer or something else over here was taken down by SjoW's units and denying any additional sight. It looks like another sensor tower gonna be placed down by SjoW. SjoW wants to be able to keep track of the center of the map. We do see that the planetary or the Nexus is currently up here. High Templar Zealots do not have the Zealot charge upgrade, and now Elfi is still trying to figure out how to get back into this game. He does have a decent enough economy, however, he does not have the same army size as SjoW does. SjoW's sitting on a 5,100 mineral army. Meanwhile, Elfi's sitting on a 2,700 mineral army. And now by establishing this expansion, if he's able to just macro up a lot, perhaps he will be able to come back in. He does not. He does have, I believe, does he have the weapons advantage? Yes, he does have a little bit of the tech advantage, but I do not think it's going to be enough to overcome an army twice your size. So Siege tanks now trying to slowly make their way in using that Xel'Naga watchtower as additional sight. Very, very powerful ability there as these units now continue to warp in. Once again, a probe now trying to make its way in. However, that probe will get shot down, and this Nexus most likely will need to get cancelled as these Colossi unable to get within attack range on these siege tanks over here. So this is going to be a very, very dangerous situation indeed. One Marauder walking on the wrong side of this chasm over here as these siege tanks continuing to push out. Will it be enough? This one High Templar does not want to try to engage. If it engages, it will simply just get blasted away by these siege tanks. Siege tanks now playing hopscotch and will slowly make their way into the base here, and now Elfi in desperate need of some additional pylons as he is currently supply locked. However, we now see the Stalkers blinking into their own Psystorm. Not quite sure what happened there as both sides trying to fight this yin and yang battle. Both sides pushing. However, Elfi will be forced to try to protect his natural expansion first as the main base over here now warping in additional units. Both sides fighting back and forth. A lot of damage being dealt. Colossi standing tall, trying to slice through. However, there are some Vikings in the air as well, and I believe the sheer army of SjoW, although a lot of it is in the red, will be enough to finish this off. One Colossus there, another Psystorm getting off perhaps some more kills there. No, not enough kills, and the army sitting right here. A lot of medevacs and Marauders able to heal back up, and this army of just 8 Marauders trying to clean up the rest of the game. Siege tanks now reinforcing once again, and Elfi with nothing in production, just trying to get more and more High Templars. I do not think it will be enough. That one High Templar may be able to get off a Psystorm. No, will not be able to get off a Psystorm there. Trying to return home. Zealots once again in mass, but without, finally getting Zealot charge. Now trying to engage. Zealots now walking through their own Psystorm. Friendly fire once again. One High Templar should get taken down right there. There it goes, as 2 Zealots try to stop the rest of this incoming army, and SjoW taking game 1 in this 5-game set that I have between SjoW and Elfi. So good game here. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Terran and Protoss here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.